in New York City. As you take a look at the city that never sleeps, this great mecca of culture and business, and tonight it's the mecca of boxing. WBO junior featherweight champion Juan Manuel Lopez defending his crown against Rogers Mnangagwa from Tanzania by way of Philadelphia, a veteran with a crowd-pleasing style who hopes to create an upset here tonight. How do these fighters match up with each other? Well, we'll take a look at the tail of the tape.
And the dimensions are similar, but what's not similar, and we don't have numbers on this showing, but the experience. Lopez, 97 rounds. Mnangagwa, 276 rounds.
Wow, that's a big disparity. And the rules.
And the rules are the unified rules, the no three knockdown, different from New York State rules. The important one, the accidental foul. We go to the cards after the fourth round in the case of an accidental foul that stops the fight. Before that, it would be a no decision.
So the stage has been set for our main event this evening as this crowd here at the WAMU Theater gets ready. And here comes the challenger, Rogers Mnangagwa. He is a young man who, in 2000, emigrated to Philadelphia from Tanzania. He had a number of fights in the early going that he probably shouldn't have had, probably mismanaged. Too many fights in a too short a period of time against too tough a competition, but turned things around when Joe Perella got with him as his manager, and he's got the training of Bobby Boogaloo Watts. And you see Bobby walking through your picture, one of the men to beat Marvin Hagler, who has imparted a lot of boxing knowledge to this young man.
Well, interesting. If you like Mnangagwa's chances tonight, he has to beat a southpaw in Juan Lopez. Bobby Watts had to beat a southpaw in Marvin Hagler, and the first time he fought him, he did it.
There you go. We'll see how Mnangagwa comes through with this. And clearly, the pressure is on him to show the world that he belongs in this ring. He's earned his way to this title, but clearly the burden of proof is on him.
I think he has earned it. I mean, he's got a lot of heart and courage, and you know, being now from Philadelphia, he's got that warrior mentality like the fighters from Philadelphia, and just about every loss on his record, on Mnangagwa's record, has been to quality opponents.
And here is the exciting Juan Manuel Lopez. Lopez, the 26-year-old from Puerto Rico, already a popular figure there and here in New York, but hoping to take it up a notch. And to do that, he'll have to beat this man, Rogers Mnangagwa. Show of some of the ethnic passion that surrounds Juan Manuel Lopez. He has a charming personality and a lot of power. Let's go to Michael Buffer to get the introduction.
Ladies and gentlemen, from the mecca of boxing, Madison Square Garden, New York City, New York, USA, Bob Arum's Top-Ranked Boxing in association with Arena Box and PR Best Boxing is proud to present the main event of the evening. 12 rounds of boxing for the WBO Junior Featherweight Championship of the World. Sponsored by Corona Extra, La Cerveza Más Fina, and the fight of the year, Pacquiao versus Cotto, live on pay-per-view Saturday, November 14th. Sanctioned by the New York State Athletic Commission Chairperson Melvina Lathan and the World Boxing Organization President Francisco Paco Barcarcel. The three judges at ringside scoring this bout on the 10-point system will be Kevin Morgan, Carlo Ortiz, and Steve Weisfeld, And inside the ring, your referee in charge of the action, Big Eddie Cotton. And now, for the thousands in attendance here at Madison Square Garden and the millions watching around the world. Ladies and gentlemen, damas y caballeros, let's get ready to rumble! Fighting out of the blue corner, wearing white with black, official weight 121 pounds. His professional record stands at 25 victories, including 18 knockouts, 12 defeats with 2 bouts even. Originally from Dodoma, Tanzania, but now fighting out of the city of brotherly love, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Ladies and gentlemen, the challenger, Rogers, the Tiger Mtagwa. And fighting out of the red corner, wearing orange with black, official weight also 121 pounds. His professional record, a perfect one. 26 fights, 26 victories, including 24 knockouts. He's the reigning, defending, undefeated WBO Super Bantamweight Champion of the world, Boricuas de Caguas, Puerto Rico, Juan Manuel Lopez.
All right, boxers, you both received my instructions in the dressing room. Obey my commands. Protect yourself at all times. All right, let's touch gloves. I expect a good, clean fight. Let's go.
So Rogers Mtagwa trying to become the first world champion from Tanzania. And it will have to be at the expense of this man, Juan Manuel Lopez, who is defending his title, a man who had 150 amateur fights, was in the 2004 Olympics, and has been a terror as a pro. And he said, I'll take the first round to see what Mtagwa has. I want to box a little bit more against him, but if I see the opportunity to take him out, I'll go after him.
And with that in mind, Al, 3 of Lopez's last 5 fights have been first-round knockouts.
A good indication that it is possible. There's some precedent setting going on, that's for sure. Lopez comes in off for a TKO in 9 over Oliver Lanchi.
Break, let him go, let him go.
Well, Mtagwa will be in front of Lopez. What has to work for Mtagwa to be effective? He's awkward. Has to be effective. If it's not, he's a little bit too easy to hit for Juanma.
Right hook by Lopez. He has a great right hook, and most of his knockdowns and knockouts come from the right hook, but when we asked him what's your best punch, he said the straight left. It's just that everybody's so busy avoiding that, I have to knock him out with the right hook. And there is that right hook landing by Lopez.
And I love to see a southpaw with a good right hand, a good right power hand, because it's so rare.
Yes, you are 100% correct, and it's very effective. Now, Mtagwa, who we mentioned, had a wild, left hand lands by Lopez. He's landing big power punches early in round 1. Bad news from Mtagwa. Now, Mtagwa was way behind in his fight with Tomas Villa and came back to beat him in a TKO in the 10th. It was a wildly exciting match, but I don't know that he can afford to give that kind of advantage away to Lopez tonight.
No, not at all. Lopez is an explosive combination puncher, as we've seen already. The right hook that kind of staggered Mtagwa a little bit. He can't afford to get hit with too many of them shots.
They want Mtagwa to move to his left, as you're supposed to do against a lefty, and they want their right hand, but also some left hooks. That's what his camp has urged him to do.
Well, it's not taking very long for Juanma to figure Motagua out, and the reason for that is Motagua's walking right into punch.
Right.
And his hands are Motagua's hands are very low.
Motagua, I mean, his style is very easy to figure out. He's going to be right there in front of you. It's totally different from Juanma's last opponent, Oliver Lanchi, who gave him a lot of movement and had some kind of awkwardness to him. That's why the fight lasted 9 rounds. Actually, Juanma got caught a couple of times with some straight rights from Oliver Lanchi. But Motagua's going to be right there in front of him all night long.
As you point out, a very different style. Well, it's been an excellent first round for Lopez. And Motagua goes down, but not from a punch, a slip. His balance has been an issue also for Motagua. So he got past round 1 anyway.
But keep your hands up high now, okay? Don't just rush in there now, okay? Use that jab, keep your head down. Okay? Give me the bucket. Give me the bucket. Okay? Keep your hands up, stay relaxed, stay calm. Okay? Keep your jab out. Okay? Put your head down.
Be careful with the head.
Don't be too wide. Bring them in close, okay? Okay, there you go. Don't stand in front. Keep stepping around. Keep going around to that left.
That's the voice of Bobby Boogaloo Watts you saw in there, who we mentioned, one of the few to be able to beat Marvin Hagler. We head into round number 2. This one is scheduled for 10 with Juan Manuel Lopez on the right of your screen defending his junior featherweight championship at 122 pounds against Rogers Motagua from Philadelphia by way of Tanzania. This is a 12-round battle, of course.
This is a really good chance for Juanma to show the diversity he has, because with an opponent coming to him, as Motagua is, Juanma can box a little bit, show a little bit of movement. He's been just an assassin in most of his fights. And you see punches in round 1, very, very high percentage for Lopez. That's the number that jumps out at you.
Motagua now a little bit more effective with his pressure. At least he's landing a couple of punches to Lopez, but still getting hit with big counter punches. And the awkward style of Motagua is certainly difficult. But you make the point, Steve, that Lopez is showing some of the boxing skills he wanted to show in this fight because of Motagua's style.
Needs to be a little bit careful with Motagua's awkwardness. He's coming in with his head a lot, and they did tell him in a corner in the last round, be careful with his head, so he needs to at least palm touch him with his jab. That way he won't run into a headbutt. And, you know, usually when you're a right-handed guy and a left-handed guy are fighting, that usually is the case.
Yes. Left hand by Lopez. He uses all of this big ring at Madison Square Garden here in the WAMU Theater. Right hook, and a nice right lands by Motagua, but then Lopez comes back with the right hand. Motagua's starting to throw the right hand a little bit better, but he's paying the price by getting hit with combinations on his way in.
Yeah, he's swinging a little bit too wild. He needs to shorten up on his punches. The guy that is shortening up on his punches is Lopez. That's why he's connected him. He's beating him to the punch. I mean, Lopez he's just an all-around fighter. He knows how to adapt to all kinds of styles. So far, he's doing great here, having no problem with the Tanzanian fighter, Motagua.
Straight left hand, moment to go to the body by Lopez as we're with about a half-minute left in this round.
Motagua's letting that right hand go. Of course, that's usually the formula for success against the lefty. And this is the first lefty Motagua's faced in 7 years.
That's amazing.
He fought a lefty about 4 years ago, but the guy fought right-handed. So this is his first lefty in a long time, and it's taking him a little while to adjust, but he's starting to use that right hand.
That was Agapito Sanchez, who normally is a lefty and did not fight that way. Good right hook landed by Lopez. So Motagua continues to attack awkwardly, and now landed a nice left hook to the head of Lopez. But another hook by Motagua right at the bell. So that at least made things a little interesting.
I think that woke up for Lopez a little bit.
Now it's starting to look like a Rogers Motagua type fight.
Yeah.
He's going back now. He's going back now.
In round 2, Rogers Motagua found some success with a right hand. Always the best weapon against a lefty, and that was a beautiful right hand. You see Lopez moving away for one of the few times where he had to move away and didn't choose to move away.
Well, we talked about the tenacity of Motagua, and you know, he's one of those fighters that we said he earned his way here. He fought a lot of good fighters, not necessarily great fighters, but good fighters, and he's shown a lot of grit, and he's showing it in this match as well. Motagua, the fighter from Tanzania by way of Philadelphia, against Juan Manuel Lopez. And Lopez, who boxed effectively over the first couple of rounds, got caught a little bit in round number 3. Let's see if he can continue to keep Motagua at bay.
Yeah, that's what he needs to do. Give him angles, give him movement, lose his speed. Don't stay in front of him. I tell you what, when he caught him with that right hand, where Motagua caught him, before that came a headbutt. He headbutted him, then he came with the right hand. So that might be just a dirty tactic. You never know Motagua. He is from Philadelphia.
Oh, boy.
And
we just lost about how many subscribers are?
And Bernard Hopkins, I mean, if he's listening, he is known for headbutting. So.
Big left hand by Lopez. So Lopez and a right hook, but Motagua just won't stop coming, and a right hand by Motagua. Rogers Motagua came here to give it his all, and he has. And Lopez power punching here in this round, but a right hand lands by Motagua. And this is looking, as you said, Steve, like a typical Motagua fight. Right hand clubs the head of Lopez, and he lands the left. A right by Motagua, and another left by Lopez. Round 3 has turned out to be something special.
It's a Motagua type fight. The question is, does that suit Lopez well?
Not at all. Lopez is making the mistake of standing in front of him, going toe-to-toe. It's too early in the fight. He needs to work the body, get him tired, keep boxing him, and then try to finish him up in the later rounds.
Now, part of the reason is Motagua won't stop coming to him, so he's put a lot of pressure on him as well.
He's being forced to stand in front of him.
There's some awkward action. Eddie Cotton doesn't intervene, but when they get back to their feet. But round 3 has been exciting. It's been wild. A right hand by Motagua lands. Under a minute left to go. Right hook by Lopez. But this is not the kind of technique Lopez wants to show. Some of those are clubbing punches, and there's a good straight left hand. Motagua's hands are at his waist, but he's wailing away.
Lopez is still a little bit out of range. He's throwing big power punches.
Big right hand landed to the head of Lopez. Cut over the left eye of Lopez now. Did it come from a clash of heads or a punch? Good right hand by Lopez. The plot thickened in round 3.
Tyler, you look like you're in turn. Okay? Tyler, you're doing good. Keep that head down, right? Keep throwing that goddamn right hand. You catch it. Keep throwing your head up high. Okay? You're doing good. All right? Give another one. Accidental headbutt. Accidental headbutt.
Boy, the action in round 3 really picked up. And you know what? I don't know if you give that round to Rogers Motagua, but it was a great round for Rogers Motagua. He turns this fight into a brawl, and maybe the most important thing of all, in trading shots with Juan Lopez, he showed what we thought going in. He could take it.
And they ruled it was a clash of heads. So that's what caused that punch. So In order for them to...
there goes the hit again.
We're in round number 4 of this 12-rounder, a championship match in which Juan Manuel Lopez brought his glittering undefeated record in against gritty veteran Rogers Matagua. Matagua has taken some monstrous punches like that left hand from Lopez, kept coming, landed his own, and landed another left hook, did Matagua. Lopez brawling with him. Is that going to work for him? Now the cut is not bleeding right now over the eye of Lopez.
Boy, some huge shots from Lopez this round. Matagua looks like he's off balance after he gets hit. Hard to tell whether it's because his balance isn't that good or whether because he's getting rocked by the shots.
Yeah, it's a very good point. His balance wasn't good, Matagua, early in the fight.
I think it's a little bit of both. He's getting hit, and I'm getting splattered with blood here.
This is one of the few times it's not your own cut. Left hook by Matagua, and a left hook to the body. He's making Lopez retreat.
Lopez may be getting hit out, but he seems totally under control. And his body language and his demeanor indicate that he's very comfortable with what's going on right now.
Well, he's relaxed, that's for sure. Right hand to the body by Matagua. But I don't know if Lopez is completely comfortable, Steve. I think there's some issues for him in terms of this kind of pressure right now. We'll see. You may well be right.
Well, Matagua's landing. There's no doubt about that.
Lopez putting distance between himself and Matagua.
That's exactly what he needs to do.
Yep.
He needs to throw more jabs. He's only throwing one jab. He needs to double up, triple up on the jab.
We're in round number 4 of this scheduled 12-rounder. Juan Manuel Lopez, the champion, and Rogers Matagua, he's in the white trunks, battling away. Big left hook misses by Matagua. Both men have landed significant punches in this round.
So far, Al, I would say I'd sum it up in 2 words: as advertised.
Yes, that's exactly right.
Time!
You have to jab him. You have to jab him. Be patient.
Okay. Let's go back up to the top. Okay, Tiger? Okay. Please, Tiger. Come on, let's do it, Tiger. Okay, you can do it, man. Come on, bring it out of him. Okay? He's ready to quit. He's a poo-poo. Seconds out.
Go!
As we head into round number 5 of this championship match, Juan Manuel Lopez, the champion in the orange trunks, battling Rogers Matagua, the challenger in the white trunks. A revealing statistic, Lopez only averaging 8 jabs per round among his 61 punches, and I would think that's a little low for him, no?
Well, it's very low given that Matagua's coming at him. The jab should be the prominent punch in his arsenal right now.
Let him go, stop. Okay, go. Okay,
Left hand lands as Eddie Cotton tries to break the 2 fighters. Lopez using all of this ring. He has used it at times very effectively in terms of his movement. Good straight left hand again by Lopez. Right hook by Lopez. But Matagua just keeps coming. That's a knockdown, I guess, Eddie Cotton's calling it. Might have been a punch that sent him down. Hard to tell.
7, 8,
It's ruled a knockdown. Left hook by Motagua lands as Lopez swings wildly. Motagua with 18 KOs among his 25 wins.
And for the record, that's the third time in his career Motagua's been down. He has a very, very dependable chin. And I don't know if that was from a punch or not. I really can't say I saw it.
It was very hard to tell.
Yeah, the way he went down was a little awkward, as if it were from something other than a punch.
Yeah, I think he was a little bit out-balanced, too. And he might have got caught with the shot, but he's more out-balanced.
Now, Lopez not throwing too many jabs. Motagua has thrown almost none in this fight. Left hand again by Juan Manuel Lopez. Motagua lands an overhand right and a hook. When it's messy on the inside, Motagua gets some things done.
Yeah, you see, if you didn't know Motagua, you never saw him fight before, you'd see his head getting snapped back, and you say, he's getting pummeled. He may not win fighting this way, but this kind of fight is exactly his best chance to win.
And we refer you back to the match he had with Tomas Vila back in November of 2008 in Tucson, where he was losing dramatically, came back in the 10th round to win that fight. So while Juan Manuel Lopez is certainly on a different level than his opponent that night, there is a precedent for it happening. And he's hanging in there against Lopez, and Lopez landing these power punches, but they're not enough to really stop Motagua. There's another good right hook by Lopez.
Lopez fought a very smart round. Gave him a lot of movement, and that's what he needs to do.
So another round goes into the books, and that's one that will include a knockdown on behalf of Juan Manuel Lopez.
Don't worry about it. It's a close round. Pay attention to what you're doing. Keep your hands up. Look, keep your hands up, Tiger. You know what you're doing? You're giving him too much room. Okay, he's just walking on you, right? Yeah. You gotta close the gap in on him. You gotta close the gap in on him. You gotta get out. You gotta push as you go in. You can't just walk in like that, Roger.
Let's take a look at what was called a knockdown. Is there a punch? Well, you know what? That right hook by Lopez went around the neck of Motagua. One more look. You see that it does not land flush. I wouldn't call that a knockdown.
And we see Lopez here with a nice right hook. Now that one looked like it staggered Motagua, but seems like Lopez didn't capitalize on it. It looked a little bit shaky there.
We head into round number 6. It appeared as if he kind of cuffed him and sent him down, did Lopez, but you know, that's in slow motion. It's a little easier for us to see at that speed. Here in round 6, almost at the halfway mark of this championship match, in which Juan Manuel Lopez defends his junior featherweight championship against Rogers Motagua, the 31-year-old from Philadelphia, who came from Tanzania and has had a pro career filled with idiosyncrasies, including the fact that he once fought 3 fights in 3 weeks in 1998 and also fought 3 fights in a month in the year 2000.
Motagua formerly managed by the Marquis de Sade.
Exactly. Joe Perella, who manages him now, said that before he came on the scene, they may have overworked him just a little. Yeah.
We can't call 3 fights in 3 weeks. This guy fought 3 fights in 3 weeks.
It's a pretty busy pace.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Brutal.
Halfway through round number 6, and speaking of pace, in this round, things have slowed just a little, but who can blame these fighters? This fight has been fought at a torrid pace. Lopez in the 5th defense of his junior featherweight title. We mentioned that he scored 13 knockdowns in his last 6 fights. Now he adds another knockdown to that list. Good jab, a couple of good jabs by Motagua.
And a little smile from Juanma there as he danced out of the way.
There's a little bruising underneath the left eye of Lopez. Nothing dramatic.
Back on his toes, Lopez doing exactly what his corner's telling him to do. There's no need for him to slug it out with this guy. I mean, we see that whenever he stands in front of him, that's when Motagua gets the best out of him. So why stand in front of him? Just use your boxing skills, move around. He's got the speed, he's got the power, he's got the legs, he's still young.
Well, he mentioned that they thought they would have to box a little bit more against Motagua, and that is exactly what has happened here.
Yeah, I think he figured that out from the first round.
Yeah.
Well, for 5 rounds, Motagua made Lopez fight. He's got to keep doing that. He's got to keep trying to do that. On the outside, he's not going to win any rounds.
Under a half-minute left here in round number 6. Now more action in the center of the ring. A little awkward, but still they both wail away, trying to land punches, and Motagua, as has been the case for this whole fight, continues to move forward. Round number 6 comes to a close. We've reached the halfway mark in this bout.
Right there. Right? Hey, Roger, you know what you got to do? You give him too much room. You're not putting the pressure on him. So you let him walk around the ring. You can't do that. You got to put the gun beat on him real quick. You got to be on top of him. Okay, Roger? You got to be on top of him, but you got to move your head side to side. You cannot let him. That's on him, Roger. Okay? Put a little bit more pressure on him. Okay, don't reach. And please put your punches together. And look, bring that. Seconds out.
Bobby Boogaloo Watts with some impassioned pleas to his fighter in that corner as Roger Motagua, the challenger, comes out to face the champion Juan Manuel Lopez. Lopez, a 2004 Olympian for Puerto Rico, lost in the second round of the Olympics, had a 126-24 amateur record. He is, of course, undefeated as a pro. Started boxing when he was 10 years old. It's been a lifetime of boxing for him. He's 26 right now. He told us earlier yesterday, he said, I have to be smart to win this fight, and that's exactly what's turning out to be the case.
Yeah, I think he's, after the 4th or 5th round, he figured out, hey, I got to get on my toes, use my boxing skills, move around. That's exactly what he's doing. I don't know if he's going to settle for a decision, but, Motagua is slowly wearing down.
Right hand by Motagua.
I guess not.
Yeah.
I was going to say maybe he might be able to catch him coming in, but it doesn't look like.
He landed a big right hand. Steve, Motagua, Gary lands the hook, not cutting the ring off, but still managing to get some punches in.
He is, and the longer this fight goes, you have to be impressed with Lopez's ability to change gears. The pace has slowed from the first 4 rounds, and 10 rounds or more. Lopez 1 time in his career, Motagua 14 times.
Yeah, that's a very significant statistic. And Motagua landing a lot of punches in this round, and Lopez's hands are low. Big right by Motagua. The best round of the fight so far for Rogers Motagua, who is fighting every bit like a Philadelphia fighter, coming forward and showing great resolve and grit. There have been a couple of fighters in that city that did that.
We got to win them fans back now, right?
Yeah, well, hey, who are you talking about? You're the one that dissed Philadelphia.
I thought we were a team.
What do you mean weak, Emo Sabi?
So you guys are not sticking with me then?
We're with you, Raul. We're with you.
We'll stay with you.
Under a minute left to go in round 7, and Rogers Motagua maybe has changed the dynamic of this fight. We'll see as it continues, but it's been a round in which, the first round in which you can honestly say he probably won a round.
And an important point out, if Lopez is going to try to use the ring, he's got to jab a little bit more. He's not landing or throwing any jabs.
Very good point. That's exactly true. About a half minute left in the round. Motagua landed a left hook just a moment ago. I don't know that he's hurt Lopez dramatically with any of these punches. There's a nice right by Motagua. And Lopez counters himself. Lopez is missing a lot. There's a right hook by Lopez that landed.
He's fighting Motagua's fight this round.
So round 7, the first one that Motagua has made real strides in. Another right hand by Motagua at the bell.
Ve cogiendo aire poco a poco, ve cogiendo aire poco a poco.
Breathe.
Round 7 was the first round in this fight that Rogers Motagua clearly won. Those shots are very wide, the right hands and the left hooks, but Lopez doesn't seem to be able to slip them.
You will see Lopez landing a straight left, but Motagua countering with a good solid punch of his own. I mean, this was a excellent round from Motagua. Might be trying to turn the tides here in this next round.
This could be a pivotal round in the fight. Can Lopez take command of this fight again? Clearly, Lopez is ahead on all the scorecards, we would imagine.
Yes.
But here in this round, Lopez trying to take control again. Another right hook by Lopez, an excellent punch.
The two things Lopez needs to do more, jab, body punch. He did a lot of body punching early. He hasn't done much since.
Here in round 8 of this 12-round championship match, Juan Manuel Lopez in the orange trunks, the champion, putting his junior featherweight title on line against Rogers Motagua, the 31-year-old challenger from Philadelphia who emigrated to this country from Tanzania in 2000, has fought his way through a tough boxing schedule, and this is the chance of a lifetime for him, and he's doing everything he can with his skill level to make it work. Uppercut by Motagua. I haven't seen that. And another straight left hand by Lopez. They both land big power shots. Right hand by Motagua. And a left by Motagua. And a big right hook by Lopez.
Come on, let's go.
Tell you, Motagua, that's a tough guy.
He has taken what Lopez could dish out and given plenty back. Steve, you made the point that the Motagua punches are a bit wide, and that's probably why they're not having a little more impact on Lopez.
Yeah, Motagua's a volume puncher. He's not a one-punch guy. But if you land enough shots and the rounds mount, you can wear your guy down, and that's Motagua's chance.
Right hook by Lopez. Now, the cut that developed over Lopez's eye has not reemerged. That was early in the fight in the 3rd round.
Stop. Pick your head up. Come on, pick your head up.
Both men showing a little bit of fatigue, and why not? This has been fought at a very high pace. Jab by Motagua, and a nice straight left hand by the 26-year-old Lopez. And if Rogers Motagua has an awkward style, which he certainly does, amazingly, though, he has been able to get by with that and sustain with those big shots of Lopez.
Stop in there, come on.
I don't know if Lopez is just trying to make a statement and prove something here and try to win with an impressive win, but, I mean, he just got caught with a wild right uppercut by Motagua.
And then he blasts Motagua with his own right hook and sends him back. Motagua may be in a little trouble here. Big right by Motagua. Wow. He is throwing those punches from New Jersey.
This is a fight, guys.
Oh, at the bell, a right hand is cut. Tried to break them up. They love it here at the WAMU Theater in Madison Square Garden, and why not?
He's tired.
This is fun.
He's tired. Okay? He's tired, Tiger. But look, he's going too wide. You're going too wide. You're going too wide, Tiger. You got that sucker. You hurt him, okay? You hear what I'm saying, Tiger? You got him. Back that boxer up. Keep backing him up. You give him too much ring.
We don't want Juan Manuel Lopez to box anymore. We want him to punch because this is what we get when he does. This is thrilling toe-to-toe action. Both guys throwing bombs. They may not be technically perfect punches, but look at them going back and forth. And Motagua looked like he was hurt, but then he came back and landed a couple of shots of his own, a common theme in this fight.
At the bell there, we saw that right hand as the referee was trying to get in, and that was a significant punch by Motagua, one of the straightest he's thrown. We head into round number 9. Some thought it wouldn't get this far, but here it is. Motagua in the white trunks, the challenger. Rogers Motagua, 31 years old, with a 25-12-2 record, 18 KOs. Lopez, 26-0 with 24 KOs. He is the champion at 26 years of age. It has been a wild fight, only one knockdown, that in round number 5, in which Motagua was sent to the canvas. In round number 5. And that was more of a flash knockdown. Right hand by Motagua as Lopez pushes him back. Left hook to the body by Motagua. Big right by, that one may have hurt Lopez. Both men are off balance.
They're throwing some bombs in there.
Here in round 9, Motagua has continued the pressure.
Let's go.
Well, this is Juan Manuel Lopez's 6th title fight. This is the first guy who's been competitive with him. And I have Manuel Lopez up 77-74 after 8 rounds, but Motagua is certainly competitive with him, if not a threat to win.
And even that score, let's just say your score is in line with the judges, which it could well be. That means that Motagua has a chance if he wins these rounds or gets a knockdown.
I mean, that's why there's no need for Lopez to stay in front of him like that. I mean, I got in my head 278, 273. All he's got to do is keep moving and, hold him and jab and box. But I guess he's being forced by Motagua, or either that or he just wants to make a statement and try to knock him out.
Could be a warning to Lopez for hitting low by Eddie Cotton. Right hook gets Motagua off balance. And another right hook by Lopez. Could be also that Lopez is tired and can't lose all this ring now. We'll see.
In the education of Juan Manuel Lopez, this is a critical fight because for the first time in his career, he's hitting somebody with everything he has and nothing's happening. It happened with Joey Penalosa, but the difference in that fight, Joey Penalosa wasn't punching back. Motagua was punching back.
And he was able to stop him in the 9th round. He has only been into the 10th round, Juan Manuel Lopez, and won that with a TKO win. So we're headed into some uncharted territory for Juan Manuel Lopez.
Both fighters reckless. Both fighters reckless. I don't blame one more than the other for the butting here.
And I believe that made the gash over the right eye. Well, big left hand by Lopez. Did he finally hurt Motagua? Another right at the end of the bell. And Eddie Cotton may start taking a point away from Motagua. He's doing that at the end of every round, hitting when they're being broken. A lot of plots and subplots here. Listen in.
Get some air. Take a deep breath. Everything's fine. Everything's fine. You're throwing too much to the top. Throw to the chest.
You see Motagua with a huge right hand. That shot wasn't that wide, but Lopez is there to be hit. And later in the round, watch the heads. Now that's intentional. That's clearly intentional.
That looked like it came from Lopez.
Obviously some wild punches by both guys. Lopez getting the best of that exchange. Tell you what, a lot of headbutting and wild swings instead of both fighters doing inside fighting.
It's become a brawl here in round number 10. It is a Pier 6 brawl. Both men are going at it in every way possible, and that includes some questionable tactics by both. Juan Manuel Lopez, the champion, in the orange trunks. In the white, it's Rogers Motagua. Only once before has Lopez been as far as this, into the 10th round. Motagua has been 12 rounds twice in his career.
Now Lopez complaining about a low blow and then landed one back right away.
The Marcus of Queensberry rules have been bent tonight, that's for sure. Lopez trying to move. We're in round 10 of this 12-rounder, about a minute gone in this round. Motagua continues to come forward. Both men punching a little bit less in this round. Another big body punch by Lopez, and Steve, you mentioned that was one of the things he needed to do more of.
Stop. Come on. Come back.
Halfway through the round now in number 10. One knockdown in this fight. That was back in round 5 where Motagua was put down in kind of a flash knockdown. Lopez dominated the early rounds, but toward the mid to late rounds, it's been Motagua coming back. Big hook and a right hand by Motagua. Oh my. Some swelling under the left eye of Lopez, courtesy of those right hands. Juan Manuel Lopez is fighting Roger Motagua's fight now. Whether he will lose it remains to be seen, but this is what Motagua wanted.
And Eddie Cotton has been very patient with both guys,
yes.
Perhaps patient to a fault.
Let's go.
But a lot of composure shown by Juan Manuel Lopez.
Yes, because you know he still has retained a certain amount of poise here, but these are tough rounds. Right hand by Motagua, and there's the jab of Lopez, and a left hand.
Motagua keeps coming. Excellent shape.
Big bombs exchanged, and Motagua lands a right hand. Lopez looks like he's got some issues. Wow.
What a fight.
Motagua sends himself down.
Let's go. I got him.
Get that on top, Tiger. Okay, this is you, Tiger. All you got to do is put your punches together and back them up. See, he gave you too much room. Come on, don't let him walk, man.
The power on the punches that were thrown when they traded. There's a low blow by the African. Amazing leverage they're getting for this late in the fight. You get the impression that any of these shots landed flush. Right there. A tremendous shot by the African. And
there's the African swinging wild there. Falls to the ground. The crowd thought it was a knockdown, but it was more of a slip. He was out of balance from swinging wild.
This is a round that Juan Manuel Lopez has never seen in his boxing career. Motagua's been here twice before. Power punches in round 10. 29 out of 51 landed by Lopez, 24 out of 50 landed by Motagua. That shows you the tenor of that round. Motagua in white, 31 years old, from Philadelphia. Born in Tanzania. Juan Manuel Lopez, the pride of Puerto Rico, 26-year-old, undefeated champion, making his 5th title defense, and it's a title defense right now that's in some question.
Oh, he's in tough tonight.
And if Motagua continues to rally, that 5th round knockdown, which might not have been a knockdown, that extra point could be key.
Well, you're right. A left hook, a right hand! Lopez hit with some big shots here in the 11th round. Remember, he has never been to this round before. How will he hold up? Motagua just flailing away.
Lopez's legs still look very good.
Good left hand by Lopez. And Steve, you made the point earlier, it's not as if Juan Manuel Lopez isn't landing big power punches. He is. They're just not having the effect they normally do.
And he's not used to that.
This crowd is in a frenzy now.
Let's go.
Halfway through round number 11. Lopez lands another straight left hand, but when he comes in now, he is squaring himself up, Lopez, making himself an inviting target for Motagua.
Yeah, he is. He's opening up. When you square up like that, you're open for everything, especially from the way Motagua punches. He punches from all angles. He catches you with some crazy shots. There you go.
Oh, another
Overhand.
straight left by Lopez. And a right hook, and finally Motagua looks like he may have been hurt, and he holds on. What can hurt Rogers Motagua? Under a minute left to go in round 11.
Now with Motagua, maybe you want to call those shots he slips instead of the ones that land, because there are a lot more of those.
That's for sure. Half a minute just about left to go. Good body work by Lopez. And Lopez has taken some control toward the end of round 11.
Yeah, he has. He's kept his composure. Back to his movement. Using his speed. Taking his jab out there.
The technique of Lopez, though, is not what you would anticipate from him. And it's gone south a little, but he's had a good round 11. Big left and a right by. Oh, left hook by Motagua to right. Lopez is in trouble. How much time left can there be?
Wow.
He makes it through the 11th round. Lopez staggers to his corner.
You got it, hey, Roger. Look, you don't got that check. Now, what you got to do, drop this round and close the gap in. Don't give him no room. You give him too much running room. Okay? Don't let him run you. Hey, look.
We look back at the last part of the round.
You don't got
For the
that
first
check.
time, Lopez looked like he was ready to go.
Está bien. No puede ver. Oye, ya despertaste.
Are you tired?
Está bien.
Oye, puñeta, ahora tengo que ya no lo vamos a bloquear.
As we head into round 12, each of these fighters has a mission. For Lopez, it is to survive the 12th round, and for Motagua, it is to do what he did in the last round. Did that 1 minute rest do enough for Juan Manuel Lopez?
It's very simple, Al. At least on my card, Lopez finishes the fight on his feet, he wins. But that's no given right now.
And also, oh my, a right hand by Motagua. And a right hook by Lopez.
Wow, he's throwing all right lead. That's the way to beat a left-hander, all right leads.
Both men are stumbling around the ring, but Lopez is genuinely hurt. Lots of time left here in round number 12.
Oh, he's holding on.
While technique has gone south, this is a wildly exciting fight. Lopez in big trouble. He is in trouble.
He has to hold. It's his only chance, Al.
I think you're right, Steven. I don't know that he can right now. It's really a time issue. Left hook. Lopez trying desperately to hold on.
Motagua's got plenty of time to get him out of there.
A minute 45 is an eternity at this point.
Motagua, a Fight of the Year candidate in 2008, won in 2009. But for Lopez, much at stake, an undefeated record. What they thought was superstardom. It's all on the line right now against Motagua. Halfway through the round. And this would probably be a 10-8 round even without a knockdown.
No doubt.
For Motagua.
Shades of Carl Froch and Jermaine Taylor.
That's exactly right.
Lopez needs to hold on.
Lopez is in the four-corner offense, trying desperately to get through and buy time. You see the clock ticking. It's a matter of seconds.
And maybe Motagua's a little punched out.
God knows he should be. A right hand by Motagua. And if Juan Manuel Lopez makes it through this round, let's not forget to give him credit for amazing courage.
Oh, amazing. The fact that he's made it this far is amazing. His legs are totally gone.
What courage shown by Lopez. Half a minute left. It's a time game for Motagua. Big right to the body. Can he even get a knockdown? That might help him make this a 10-7 round. A left hook. Can Lopez stay up? The countdown from 17.
And Lopez looked at the big screen to see how much time was left.
Drama.
Wow.
Of the highest nature here at Madison Square Garden. Everybody in this arena is on their feet.
And he made it.
He made it. Will he win, or will Rogers Motagua end up with this decision? What an amazing boxing match. when this fight ended, every one of those people who are now on their feet were on their feet. They rose almost in unison for the last 25 or 30 seconds of this fight to see if this man, Roger Motagua, could get Lopez down, and would Lopez stay on his feet? It is now going to be in the judges' hands. And let's revisit, Raul, that dramatic last round.
Yeah, Motagua all straight right hands in this round. There you go again. And left hooks. Straight rights and left hooks. Had Lopez, there we go again, same overhand. Had him hurt, out on his legs, out on his feet. I just don't know how Juanma Lopez survived this round. I mean, he must have been in excellent condition to be able to take that kind of punishment.
He was hurt 10 seconds into the round.
He was basically in a daze the whole the whole 3 minutes of that round.
And we see this action. You can see how Lopez is just not steady on his feet, and Motagua throwing wild punches. Rogers Motagua, not exactly a great technician, but man, he is aggressive and he has grit and determination, and he landed 35 power shots in that round. And there was where Lopez was actually looking at the clock.
Very smart of him,
the screen to try and figure out.
Even though he was out on his feet and, you know, dazed a bit, he thought about looking at the clock and see how much time was left.
Still had the presence of mind. Now, Rogers Motagua believes he did enough over the last 4 or 5 rounds of this fight to win this decision. And he may have or he may not have. And now the last round, I don't think anybody could make a case for that round not being a 10-8 round. I know there was not a knockdown, but if ever there was a 10-8 round with no knockdown, that had to be it.
Yeah, that had to be it. That was the biggest round of the whole fight. And Motagua had the biggest round of the whole fight.
That's a very good point.
Of course, that's not going to, in my unofficial scorecard, that didn't make him the winner, and you have to give it to Lopez again to be able to survive.
Yeah. Lopez put a lot of rounds in the bank early in that fight. Also, he scored a knockdown in round 5, which gave him a 10-8 round. So let's just say that negates this 10-8 round. Then we're left with the rest of the rounds. Well, Michael Buffer is, we believe, has collected the scorecard. He's checking them over to make sure he does not make an error in this, and to make sure he is going to read them correctly. And that's good judgment as you look at Lopez, who knows that he was tested and then some here tonight. Michael Buffer's ready. Let's go to him.
Ladies and gentlemen, here at Madison Square Garden, a round of applause for one of the great fights in many a year. Challenger and champion, let's give them a hand. We go to the scorecards. Carlos Ortiz scores the bout 116-116. Kevin Morgan 114-113. Steve Weisfeld 115-111 to the winner by majority decision. Boricuas, Tejaguas, Puerto Rico, still the undefeated WBO junior featherweight champion of the world, Juan Manuel Lopez.
A mixed reaction from this crowd, and clearly you would expect that. It was a very close fight. The judging, for the most part, very close. A majority decision, though Steve Weisfeld had it a little bigger at 115-111. Very disappointing for Rogers Motagua, that's for sure. But in the wake of all this, Motagua certainly did himself a lot of good in the boxing community. And for Juan Manuel Marquez, it was a lot of courage in the last round.
Manuel Lopez.
Excuse me. I meant Lopez. I was looking at you.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Steve Farhard's with Rogers Motagua. Let's go right now.
Rogers, your reaction to the decision.
Yeah, I think the fighting, I winning my fight. I don't know what happened. No.
Do you feel you won the fight?
Yeah. I feel winning my fight. I don't know what happened. People say I losing my fight. I don't understand.
In the 12th round, the last round, you came so close to stopping him? Did you just run out of energy? Did you just get too tired to continue to throw punches?
Yeah, the last round he tired, very tired. So I'm trying to give him speed up and knock out. He got good luck. The bear.
He was holding on.
Yeah.
He was holding on to the ropes. He was holding on to the ropes. He was holding on to the fighter. I mean, that gives him a little bit of breathing room,
Joe Perella, the manager. Rogers, he hits awfully hard, yet you showed no signs of going down. How hard does Juan Manuel Lopez punch?
No, he's not strong. We say strong. No, she got a lot of speed up. He's a good fighter. No. We say maybe second round they give a good shot. That's the accident, you know what I mean? I think maybe win the fight because they give a good shot for second round. That's right there.
You showed such tremendous heart. It was a very close fight on the cards. Given that this was definitely a candidate for Fight of the Year, do you want Juan Manuel Lopez again?
Yeah. I'm thinking like there's a very close fight, I'm thinking maybe, I don't understand.
You hit as hard as he does. You hit as hard as he does.
Yeah, I hit as hard as he does, Yeah.
I'd like to have a rematch.
Joe, is a rematch realistic?
Yeah.
Well, I would hope it would be. We'd certainly like a rematch, I think.
Definitely give a rematch. You want a very, very good. You know what I mean? I don't believe if he wins the fight. You know what I mean? I hope if he give a rematch, I'm happy. You know what I mean?
Anybody ever go 12 rounds with him?
Rogers, that was an absolutely fantastic effort. I hope you do get a rematch. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, Ricardo Jimenez will translate for Juanma Lopez. Has he ever been in a fight anything like that, as difficult in his life?
La pelea difícil, lo más que has tenido en el ring.
Sí, la más difícil, definitivamente, la más fuerte, un peleador que todo el tiempo dije, pues, era un peleador fuerte.
Was very, the guy was very strong. I was right out there hitting him, but he was a very strong guy.
A veces es más difícil pelear con estos peleadores que con peleadores invistos porque son peleadores que no tienen nada que perder, muy desorganizados y todo el tiempo todo lo dije.
Sometimes it's very difficult to fight guys like this because they have nothing to lose. They come in with everything. I have a lot to lose. So yeah, it's very, very hard fights.
The 12th round for Juanma was a tough one. Did it seem like it lasted about an hour?
¿Cuánto duraba ese último round que ya no se acababa?
No, fue un round muy fuerte, venía ya desde el round número 11, pues no me sentía muy bien, lo dije en la esquina y un pelo muy fuerte, definitivamente, no tengo mucho que decir.
He was a strong guy. In the last round, he was coming right after me. I was a little tired, but I knew what was going on at all times.
He clearly won the first half of the fight. Does he feel comfortable with the scores? Does he feel he won this fight?
Obviamente ganaste la primera mitad con facilidad. ¿Pensaste que la pelea también se ganó?
No, sí, yo gané la pelea, definitivamente. Los últimos tal vez 2 asaltos, pues sí, fueron 2 asaltos que pudo haber perdido, pero los primeros 10 yo los gané cómodamente, definitivamente.
The first half of the fight, even more than that, I thought I won the fight. I had under control. I was doing what I wanted to do, but it got tough at the end.
Promoter Bob Arum, a fair question. I know you have big plans for Juanma. Maybe a fight with Caballero, maybe a fight with Israel Vasquez or Gamboa. Does all that get pushed back if you can make a rematch now with Motagua?
No, not at all. He beat him. The scores, the one score, 115, 111 was correct. The other scores were a little ridiculous. He won the fight clear. And the referee missed 3 knockdowns. For Christ's sake. Those were legitimate knockdowns. I can see the referee missing it once, but not 3 times.
Ricardo, can you ask Juanma who he would like to fight next?
¿Quién te gustaría enfrentarte enseguida?
Nos vamos a sentar con la compañía, hablarle a muchos rivales de nombre y me gustaría tal vez no seguir peleando con peleadores regulares, sino con peleadores grandes como Israel, Rafael Márquez, con peleadores de nombre de verdad.
I like to fight the top guys at 126, I can fight anybody. Sometimes it's hard, like I said, it's harder to fight these guys that have nothing to lose. I'd rather fight a good champion than a guy like this.
Yeah. And the 2 guys we're looking at are Luevano and Rojas, the WBC 126-pound champion and the WBO 126-pound champion. In Puerto Rico, January 23, on the #1 network, HBO.
Juan Manuel Lopez, this was a tremendous fight. Al, as I throw it to you, we've seen him knock out a lot of people in 5 straight KOs. Tonight he had to show something else, a lot of heart.
All right, well, Juan Manuel Lopez certainly did show that in that 12th round, that's for sure. We have been told that the scorecards were originally were actually read incorrectly. There was because it looked like a typo. And what happened is it is a unanimous decision. The 116-111, the way it was written looked like 116-116, and it did in defense of Michael Buffer when you look at the actual scorecard. So it is, in fact, a unanimous decision with Kevin Morgan having it close, and obviously for Carlos Ortiz and Steve Weisfeld, they thought that the early rounds that Juan Manuel Lopez had put in the bank were sufficient for him to win this decision. I guess the interesting thing about this on many levels is the fact that Juan Manuel Lopez showed grit and determination, if not maybe the best strategy in fighting this fight. But does that add in some ways to his folklore by the fact that he was able to hang in there in that last round?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it showed that he was in great condition, and for him to win all them rounds and be ahead and get hurt in the last round like that, where he was basically out on his feet, and him to withstand that, I mean, that takes a lot of courage, and that shows the heart of a champion. Now, the only thing is, we'll see how this war is going to affect him for the future. You know, he did take a beating in the last round. He took some big right hands and left everything from Matawa. So it might be safe to take a good, nice rest before he thinks about jumping in the ring too soon. And trust me, I know that from experiences in the past.
That's for sure. Yes. And let's say this about Rogers Matawa. Really a gritty and spectacular performance for that man who, while his technique is not on the level of Lopez, he was very tough in this fight. And let's look at the CompuBox numbers, which will reflect on this fight. Now, this speaks, of course, to people feeling that Lopez had put enough rounds in the bank. He landed many more punches than Matawa did. That's a fairly significant number. And remember, there was a knockdown in round number 5. So the 2 10-8 rounds kind of got negated.
No.
And let's remember something else. Matawa in the last 2 rounds had a monstrous edge and as we look at the power punches, had a monstrous edge in punches. So really all through the fight, Lopez's edge in numbers was significant.
Oh, yeah, I think so. He was landing a lot of fast combinations. You know, for all accounts, on my unofficial scorecard, I had him 116-111. There's no doubt that he won the fight. You know, what made it look brutal was the way they ended it, you know, but he was able to survive, and he got, you know, the important thing is he got the win. You learn from every fight like this, whether you win or lose, and I'm sure Matawa, you know, we'll see more of him.
Oh,
I would like to see more
so.
of him. I think he deserves another shot at some other kind of world title or an up-and-coming guy, and both guys still have a future.
It was a wildly exciting fight and really an exciting night of boxing as well. And we hope you enjoyed it here on our Top Rank pay-per-view. A thrilling victory by Juan Manuel Lopez against a very, very tough opponent. First, Pavel Volek won his match against Nascimento, and we had a very, very exciting evening of boxing. For Steve Farhood and Raul Marquez from Madison Square Garden, I'm Al Bernstein. Good night, everyone.